Hot off the press, the NSF just released a brand new SBIR and STTR program and has set aside a whopping $56 million of non-dilutive funding for this opportunity. So in this video, I'm going to break down this new Fast-Track Pilot Program, how it's different from the traditional SBIR Phase 1 and Phase 2 programs within the NSF, the budget limits, and most importantly, the 3 eligibility requirements you and your startup must meet to qualify before submitting a fast-track grant. So make sure you watch until the end of this video so you can learn whether you and your startup would qualify for this brand new pilot program so that you can secure non-dilutive funding for you and your startup. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're joining us for the first time, I'm Stacy Chin, a professional SBIR advisor and consultant who has helped to secure over $15 million of non-dilutive funding for startups across all areas of innovation and technology, including healthcare, defense, and climate. If you'd like to learn more about the SBIR and STTR program, I'll leave a link to another video in the description below. Now let's first chat about what is this NSF Fast-Track Pilot Program and how that differs from the agency's original Phase 1 and Phase 2 SBIR and STTR programs. So this NSF Fast Track offers an exciting opportunity for innovative companies to secure significant non-dilutive funding. However, this program offers a much more accelerated funding pathway. And the beauty of this lies within its streamlined approach to submit one single proposal for both Phase 1 and Phase 2, which will significantly reduce the time to market. And this program can be a golden opportunity for companies who are eager to fast track their innovative solutions and R&D developments towards commercialization. However, similar to the NSF's original Phase 1 application, you'll still need to submit an NSF project pitch if you're interested in pursuing this fast-track route. Here, your project will get reviewed, leading to either an invitation to submit a full fast-track SBIR application or a rejection. And if you're lucky enough to have your project pitch accepted, you can then move forward to the fast-track application. There might be an alternative where the agency might think you'll be better suited for a full Phase 1 application instead, and if so, they'll email you that outcome as well. Now, let's chat about the fun stuff, which is the timeline and the budgets. The NSF's Fast Track grant opportunity can last anywhere from 24 to 36 months, offering substantial financial support up to $400,000 for initial activities within the Phase 1 portion of the application, and then up to $1,155,000 for the extended R&D efforts within the Phase 2 portion of the Fast Track grant. And this part is meant to support the startup's commercialization efforts. And now it's important to note again, this is a brand new pilot program. And so the NSF is currently testing things out, and they're going to change and adapt the solicitation as they go along as startups starts responding to this new opportunity. In case you're interested in applying, the NSF Fast Track deadlines are September 18, 2024, November 6, 2024, March 5th, 2025, July 2nd, 2025, and finally, November 5th, 2025. If you need help preparing your NSF Fast Track proposal, make sure to reach out to us at keepyourequity.co so that we can learn how to best support you in these efforts. Now, at this point, I know you're thinking, Stacy, this seems way too good to be true. I would know because I thought that myself. But here is the catch. The NSF Fast Track Pilot Program have different eligibility requirements than the NSF traditional Phase 1 and Phase 2 proposal solicitations. And if you don't meet these requirements, the NSF might reject your project pitch application or invite you to a full Phase 1 application instead. So to avoid that hot mess, in the next portion of this video, I'm going to break down the 3 distinctive requirements that you and your startup must meet in order to learn whether or not you qualify for this opportunity. The first eligibility requirement is that you need a rock-solid, ready-to-go team that can tackle both the technical and the commercial aspects of your SBIR fast-track application. That means all the technical experts must be identified, as well as the commercial strategists who will help navigate the commercial hurdles. And so to meet this requirement, you must include a complete fast-track team. There should be no placeholders, no to-be-determined personnel within your proposal efforts and budgets. Everyone listed in budget items A and B must already be identified and willing to be available to commit to your proposal efforts if accepted and awarded. And this is important because the NSF wants to be confident that your team is ready to go and hit the ground running from day one if your NSF Fast Track application was awarded. The second eligibility requirement is that the NSF wants you and your startup to have recent and high quality customer discovery training to ensure a solid grasp of the product market fit and targeted customers. So to meet this formal customer discovery eligibility requirement for your NSF Fast Track application, you and your startup must complete a customer discovery training within the past 2 years, ensuring that at least one person on your senior team has been through some sort of qualified program. And some examples of this could be the NSF I-Corps program or an incubator or accelerator initiative. And this training will equip your team with a clear understanding of the product market fit and initial target customers, setting a strong foundation for your fast-track proposal. Now, the third eligibility requirement is that your fast-track proposal must build upon a previous NSF awarded proposal from the past 5 years with the same key persons involved. So what do I mean by this? To meet the lineage eligibility requirement for your NSF SBIR fast-track program, these efforts must build upon a previously awarded NSF research award within the past 5 years. Here, you have to include the NSF award number and title within your project pitch application, as well as the PI or key team leader that was supported under this award. If a team member is named on the lineage award, then no further documentation is needed. Otherwise, you'll have to provide a confirmation letter from the original PI or co-PIs. So some examples of eligible awards include NSF Research Awards, PFIs, or GRFPs. However, it's important to note that the NSF I-Corps or previous SBIR awards may not qualify. And of course, things may change, so make sure to keep your eye on the solicitation for these updates. If you found any of these tips helpful, I would greatly appreciate it if you can like this video and subscribe to this channel so you can learn new ways to keep your equity throughout your fundraising journey. And of course, don't forget to check out our website at keepyourequity.co, where you'll find lots of other templates, resources, and courses to help you secure non-dilutive SBIR and STTR funding. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in a video very soon.